Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of the TV is Our Real Mom podcast. I'm your host, Dave, and as always, I'm joined by my co host, my sister, Katie. Katie, what's happening?
Nothing's happening, Dave. I'm just taking it easy. What about you?
Not too much. Just hanging out by myself in my apartment on this lovely St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't have to work. I had to work. So,
Yeah, that's worse.
yeah,
So.
it's not great. But think of all the bartenders and stuff who are working right now. So, probably making a lot of money.
Yeah, probably. At least they have that to lean on. They're
Yeah,
they're probably making tons of money right
true.
now.
A
Yeah,
lot.
but also dealing with lots of crazy drunk people. So
Very, maybe not worth it.
yeah, tough to say. Tough to
Yeah,
say. All
definitely.
right. Well, here we are to talk about the latest episode of Survivor Ghost Island. This is episode 4, titled "Trust Your Gut," and apparently Michael's gut was wrong. Right?
Well, Michael's gut is 18. I mean, it's easy to forget that, but I feel like, you know, he didn't listen enough to Brendan, and that might have been a place where his age came into play. Like he thought he knew for sure what was going on. You could tell that Brendan knew he was wrong. Like when I saw Brendan's face when Michael said, "I think it's Stephanie," you could tell by Brendan's face that he was wrong, and Brendan knew he was going home.
Why didn't Brendan say something then? Why didn't he say play it on me? I mean, that's I guess that's the game move. You're making a decision. Do I maybe risk pissing off Michael by telling him what to do, or
Hmm.
I don't know. To me, your life is on the line. You got to like beg for that thing.
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
think we've ever seen that where someone's like, "You gotta play it on me. You gotta play it on me." At least at tribal council.
I mean, the votes are already cast, so at that point, if he really feels it's him. I mean, maybe he
Mhm.
didn't really feel it was him. Maybe that's just you,
Yeah,
but
but you could
uh,
tell from his face. He was like, "You
he's
knew.
like, oh
You
shit.
knew." Yeah,
Yeah, he really should have begged
I
for it.
guess
Yeah,
that was his last option. That's what he said. If he could do anything differently, he would
beg
try
for
harder to convince
it.
Michael that he needed to play it on him. So,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's where his gut really was at, and I don't know.
mhm.
I think he was listening to his brain too much.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Brendan was the obvious person they would vote for. You
Yeah,
know,
I don't know why he was so convinced it was Stephanie. Um, I guess.
well, I guess as a fan, in the past, a lot of times they try to put the votes on the person that, like, if you have a group of people, they go for the one like, oh, they wouldn't expect us to vote for that person because that
Mhm.
person's not a threat. Like, I think it was that sort of line of thinking. So I can see where he's coming from there, but um, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess you just have no way of knowing. It really is the ball under the cup game. Like I said
Yeah.
last week, if you just guess what cup the ball is under, you have no idea.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I was watching the whole plan unfold. I was like, this is all great, but if they don't know who the votes are going on, then it's pointless. And that's exactly what happened. I was still shocked though. I thought for sure Bradley was probably going because he was getting the typical, he got too cocky. He's barely been on the show, but he has some confessionals here, and so it's probably time for him to go. Like it was classic Survivor editing, but it wasn't. So,
Yeah, they tricked me too. Well, kind of. They got me thinking that. Honestly, watching the tribal council though, I was saying it out loud to myself. I'm like, it's gonna be Brendan. Like I'm
mhm.
like, it's gonna be Bradley, 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 Brendan, Brendan, Brendan. I called it. Like,
It's a
but
bummer.
yeah,
I feel
I
like
mean,
he's
it really was a serious bummer because everything up to that point was so epic. Like
going.
it was awesome, and like you said, Michael's an 18-year-old kid or whatever, but
Mhm.
I thought he did an amazing job
Oh
on this tribal
yeah.
council. Like
No, that was his only mistake. Like he didn't perform at that tribal council like an 18-year-old.
yeah, I think they did the best job they could have done. Like
Yeah.
they did everything they could, and
Mhm.
the only thing they missed, like you said, was just putting it on the right person, putting the idol
Yeah.
on the right person. They didn't. So
And it was
what are you
so
gonna do?
smart for him to say it was double, had double safety because of the James 2 idol thing. Like that was believable. But like, I love how there was no setup for that. How you just I was watching it with my sister, and we were like, "What? Did it say that in the note?" Like, you were thinking it was a real thing for a
Yeah, I
second
mean,
there.
he was very convincing about it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Um, yeah, he just did a fantastic job. He sold it. He was very well spoken, not nervous. He was bold, and he definitely made Bradley nervous. You could see it on his face. Like,
Bradley.
yeah, I called it right. I was like, I
You
hate
were
this
right about
guy.
so many things last week. I'm starting to wonder if you're like spoiled or something.
No, I'm not. I'm not. But I got my finger on the pulse now.
I
I
guess
mean,
so.
obviously, I don't because my winner pick was Brendan.
Yeah.
But last week I said my winner pick is going home, so I got that right.
You did get that right. And you said that you hate Bradley before I was really on board with hating Bradley. And I'm still kind of like, I hate him, but he's not doing anything like super mean, you know? So it's like, I hate him in a fun way. You know what I mean? Like, he's
Yeah,
fun to
yeah,
hate, but
yeah. I get that. I mean, like, I hate him, but but I get how he's still sort of a character, and I agree with what Rob was saying in his podcast recently that we got to have this guy on the show because it's like those guys are interesting to watch. Otherwise, the show gets boring. You have these
yeah.
very hateable guys, and to me, I hate Bradley a lot as a character. Watching him, he's the like annoying, like wiener villain guy, and it's
You
really
know,
coming across.
You know what I remembered, and this struck me when I was reading Brendan's exit interviews, is that in his, in the pregame stuff, Bradley was saying how he wanted to be like Tyson and have all this snarky like asides, and I think he's like putting on an act to some extent. Like I think he's trying to be Tyson, whereas Tyson just is Tyson, and so it's coming off like just douchey or like wienery, like you said. So yeah, I don't think it's cute. I think it's annoying, and I don't understand how he. In one confessional, he's like, "I want to be Boston Rob or Kim Spradlin," and then at Tribal Council, he's like, "I don't understand why people see me as a leader." It's like you just said, you clearly are, maybe with Kellen, who I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, but my sister was saying the same thing. We don't like her either.
Yeah, well, this is the thing.
Gives me a pain.
I'm always confused about like, do we always just start rooting against the people who are obviously in power, no matter what, no matter how likable they are? Is whoever is in
Probably.
power just is that how much we love underdogs? Like because that's just been a thread of my whole life. Is like I've always cheered for underdogs. So like,
Well,
I
I
wonder
do
just how
want
much
to.
that comes into play.
I do, to be fair, I would like to point out that I said I was probably not going to like her in the preseason podcast that we did because just of she's just it's a lot with
Yeah.
her how smiley she is and how it's just a lot. And I don't like the way that she and Bradley both did the whole, well, you're on the wrong side of the numbers, so it sucks for you. I don't like that. I don't think that's smart, and it's smug. I know it's like maybe a move that'll work for them, but it's smug and I don't like it.
Right. I agree with what you're saying. Like you said before the podcast, you probably weren't going to like her. So,
Mhm.
and that's why I asked the question. I just think it's important to examine, like, do
Yes.
I just not like her because she's in power? But I don't think that's the case here. Um, shit, I
So
lost my
like
train of thought.
her and Bradley together, two people that give me a pain is like giving me a double pain. And now the fact that they're like in power and now the other three, I don't know what's going to happen to them. Like I hope that they don't go to tribal council next week and then we have a swap so that those three are okay. Jenna maybe, whatever, who cares about Jenna? But Michael and Stephanie, I mean.
Yeah, well, I have to disagree a little bit with what you were saying about how it's not what they're doing isn't smart. Because, well, okay, now I see what you're saying. If you think about all the swaps that come into play,
There's
like you kind of want
gonna
to.
be another swap, and they cut that off. They're like, no, we're not gonna work with you. Well, what if
Yeah,
you're the only Navidi over there?
that's a really good point. I was gonna say that these are all super fans, so all super fans understand that Survivor. Richard Hatch he designed how Survivor is to be played. Like the winners will form strong alliances and stick together, and no one can stop them. Basically, you have a free final five, easy. So as long as you stick to that plan, you're good. But New School Survivor, this is the part I forgot. They're doing so many
Mhm.
swaps and stuff. It behooves you to vote out these people, or you can stick together, but you have to make the other people feel like, you were at least entertaining the thought of working with them, because
Mhm.
yeah, that you make a good point there. I wasn't really thinking about that.
And it
Yeah.
just doesn't come off likable.
Right, but I can see where they're coming from. They're like, we're gonna play an old school game. We're going to stick together and just
They're
knock these
super
guys out.
fans. They should know that's not going to work.
Yeah, I guess they're forgetting, the new school twists a little bit here, because yeah, you make a really good point. I didn't think of that.
I just hope that they both leave soon. That'd be nice.
Because it's boring for the show to stick together, but if you can avoid some of these twists, it's really
Hmm.
smart to stick together. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just, like Desiree said in the secret scene, like, I'm not dumb. Like, why would I switch?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point there, and there isn't for those five. There is no point to switch, but you should, make those people feel more comfortable for the future.
Yeah. They're not, super they're not going to work with Bradley. If they swap to a tribe where they have numbers, Bradley's screwed
Yeah, he would be the first one I would go after because
for
he's such a
sure.
prick.
Yeah. Could you believe that Kim Spradlin, Boss and Rob thing? Like, is he like trying to be? Is he being obviously douchey, or is he really like that's what he's going for? I mean, I guess that's what you should aim for.
I think that's, yeah, just what he's going for. He says that's the kind of game I want to play, you know? And
Okay.
it's a good game to try to play, but I mean, it is always, I don't know if you should ever compare yourself to people that, because it's like they've become such a, like, they've become legendary figures in Survivor lore. You don't compare yourself to people like that.
No, there's a reason there's so few names you say like that. It's
Yeah,
because most people aren't like them.
right.
But either way,
Either way,
he's a douche.
I hate to say it, but yeah, this vote, everything hinged on Michael playing that idol correctly. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
I feel
think
like
you're
there's
being hyperbolic there.
I might be, but I honestly see Michael going out next, Steph shortly thereafter.
I don't think so.
Bingo
I
bongo.
I think that you have one more tribal and then there's another swap.
You really think they're swapping that many times
Yeah, I
again?
think they're going down to three.
Yeah, I guess they don't mess around anymore. Like, they're never going back to the old, like, we'll let these tribes ride and see how it goes. They're gonna just swap as many times as they can.
Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, I mean, Michael and Steph might have a shot, but it kind of depends on how this next episode goes, because the Malolo numbers are going to be dwindling, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Bradley and Kellen. They're very intelligent, and they seem to be able to pull people together. So
I don't think Bradley's gonna pull anyone together. I think he's gonna push people away.
well, I don't know. It worked on this vote. Like, can you believe that's another thing about this? Can you believe that they actually stuck together? I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I could have sworn like Michael's big speech worked. Like,
Hmm.
but they actually rolled the dice and stuck together. And I don't know. But I guess if you think about it, what's the worst case scenario if they stick together and the idol gets played on Brendan? Worst case
Hmm.
scenario, Bradley goes home, and I don't
Hmm.
think they care that much if Bradley goes home. So
Probably not.
it made sense for them to stick together, I guess.
I think maybe they could get Seabass if because they maybe should have gone to him before tribal council. But they probably should work on him a little
Hello.
bit. I don't
Oh,
know. Hello?
sorry, I lost you there. Lost you.
Oh, sorry.
Can you say that one more
I
time?
said,
Seabass.
yeah, I said I think they could maybe get Seabass. Like if they would have started working on him earlier rather than just kind of drop the bomb at tribal council, I think maybe their plan would have worked.
Right. And I'm guessing they probably did. I mean, in the secret scene, they showed us a scene of Michael going
Mm-hmm.
up to Desiree and
Mm-hmm.
working on her, and she just stonewalled him.
Mm-hmm.
Those five had the stonewall plan, and they all agreed to it. So I guess Sebastian was probably in the same boat, doing the
Yeah.
same thing.
Well,
So
I mean, their words might take a while to sink in, but I don't know. It's just so boring if it's like a pagonging.
yeah, like I said, like for TV, pagonging suck, but
Hmm.
for your game, if you're in the numbers, it's great for you.
I feel like we're at a point right now, and I don't feel have this negative, ominous feeling like I did at the beginning of Game Changers, where I was like, after the Malcolm vote, which was also the fourth vote, I was like, ooh, this is not going well and things are going to go bad. And I was right about that. But I think this season has the potential to be like iconic.
Oh wow, that's hyperbolic, or that's bold.
Like
That's a
you,
bold statement.
well, I was just going to say, you have a lot of potentially iconic things like the ridiculous silliness of characters like Seabass and Chris. You have a major like villain in the form of Bradley, and you have just really savvy players like Michael. And I'm not sure if Dominic's savvy yet, but you have James and you have other guys out there that I think, this could be a really cool, fun season. But if it goes pagonging, yeah, it's not going to be the case.
Right, and I agree. I mean, I try to think of like I heard someone ask the question like, "Who are you rooting for?" And I thought about it. I'm like, I'm rooting for just about everybody.
Right.
Like, there's nobody
Except
I'm not
Bradley.
rooting for except maybe Bradley.
Yeah.
And like we said, I can even see Bradley's, you know, upside too. I'm not rooting for him, but I can see how
Right.
people would root for him.
It's
So you got a
it's
lot of people
early,
to
but
root
it's
for.
hard. It's hard to see him winning a vote, but it's early, like I said.
Right, right. But
Yeah, I love. Sorry, I love the stuff that's going on the other tribe, like Jonathan and Wendell and Dominic and Laurel was more visible this episode, and I love that little alliance of Laurel and Jonathan and James and Libby's there. I guess she's okay, but and then potentially Wendell and Dominic too. I love that group. I hope they really do work together.
yeah, I mean, if those five can get together, they can probably give that other five a run for their money. If
Yeah.
they're all still there.
Hmm.
I do think Michael's screwed if they go to tribal next time. There's really nothing he can do to say they have to win if he wants to stick around. Otherwise, you can just say
Hmm.
bye to Michael, which is
He's
unfortunate.
gonna
But
have to pray that he gets to go to Ghost Island and play a game.
that could happen. I mean, maybe he's got some ideas on how he can convince the other team to send him there. I don't
Hmm.
see how the other team would ever send someone like Michael to Ghost Island and make him immune. Hey, let's keep that guy in the game. He doesn't seem
Yeah,
threatening at all.
that's true.
Smart,
There's not
good
gonna be
looking,
unanimous.
charismatic, young, strong. Yeah, let's keep him in the game.
Yeah, he
He's
might be
screwed.
doomed. You're
He's
you're
doomed.
right.
Absolutely doomed. And I am not happy about it. I like Michael.
Hmm.
There is something fun about seeing a guy so young be so like with it. So
Yeah, but if he's a good player, and it seems like he is, maybe just not got the super accurate instincts, um, then he should be able to find a way out of it. I mean, that's the mark of a good player. When they're in trouble, they find a way out.
right. And we'll see. I mean, he could start looking for another idol.
I mean, based on last season, it's out there already.
Yeah, I mean, they put another one out there before tribal was over, I'm sure.
And when one person finds it, they will find the next one. So
Right, right.
it's happening.
Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about Wendell and Dominic.
Yeah.
Um maybe there isn't much to say there.
I like them. I'm glad there's a little bit of hope there for them. Um, let me see. What else could I say?
I like the part where like Dominic tells him he's got an idol and Wendell's like, "Wow, that's great." like
Wendell's very calm.
he's very chill. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys where like when your energy runs low, you don't have you because he seems like a chill, calm guy
Hmm.
to begin with. So when you're tired, you're just like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, probably. Like the opposite of Dominic, who I think is super animated. I
Right, just
liked
all the
when
time.
I liked after they got back from tribal council and Dominic was like, Wendell, you want to go for a walk and maybe, what did he say? Hug it out or hold each other for a while or something like that.
Yes, hug it out. Yeah, something like
It was
that.
fun. It made me laugh. I like them together. I'm glad they're still together. They're obviously in trouble, but lucky for them, Chris is a douche nozzle, so no one
They
wants to work
were,
with him.
yeah, they were in trouble, but yeah, they're obviously not anymore. They've got Laurel and that whole group wanting to work with them. So I think Chris is in way more trouble. Angela is in a lot of trouble. But I get a feeling that no one's gonna target her because they don't see her as a threat. So she'll just hang around. She'll be there for a long time, just like I said at the beginning of the season.
Probably.
Let's see. Dom gets the secret advantage. Is there anything to talk about there?
For what?
Dom and the secret advantage.
Oh, not really. I mean, he's already the third person to have his hands on it this season, which is more than we've seen in any other legacy advantage season. So I don't know. Maybe he'll get to keep it. Seems like he's someone who's going to be around for a while, but the editors have been crazy this season. Like, I don't know. For all I know, Chelsea's the winner.
Yeah.
Which seems unlikely.
Chelsea finally got a confessional in this episode.
It'd be nice to get a little more from her when they were discussing, I don't know, maybe they'll get some more in the beginning of the next episode, but since her and Sebastian were like the targets to bring over, I would like to know how those words registered with them. Like, did they sort of buy what they were selling, or were they just like, no?
I don't know where Chelsea got in that mix because, like I said, in that secret scene, they thought Desiree was their like, oh, she's the bottom one. Let's pull her. But then she stonewalled them, so they kind of changed it to Chelsea. So I don't know if it's just like I don't know if it's all just like they're making shit up,
Maybe they're reaching.
I do agree that Kellen and Bradley seem to be the more dominant leader types. So does that mean they're at the top? I don't know. They do kind of seem like a group of 5 that just is working together right now.
To me, Kellen and Bradley are up here, and then the other 3 are not.
Yeah, I mean, that's their personality would make you think that, but like, as if it came down to those 5 having to vote one of each other out, and that was it, would it be Desiree, Chelsea, or Sebastian? I don't know. It might not. It might. So. Yeah. So it's tough to say that those guys are on top of a 5-person alliance.
Well, that's what I mean. Just because someone's controlling it doesn't mean they're not going to be the target. In fact, it makes it more likely that they'll be the target. The Zekes and the Davids go after each other, whereas the other little underlings fight their way to the end.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all semantics. It's all just things you say to like put targets on people. And like we said, I think Michael and Brendan did an excellent job of doing everything they could to try to make that happen. But
the Survivor gods did not deem it to be so. So
I mean, isn't that crazy that the curse continues like that too? Because like he didn't successfully play the idol. Like
at least cursed. He played it. At least he didn't. He's not going home with it in his pocket. So at least he like tried to use it. But if it's a cursed item, it's never going to work. So
yeah, and man, it was just such a great tribal council and such a letdown because you really wanted that thing to be played right and see Bradley go home, especially with the editing the way it was,
Yeah, it just goes to show you. I mean, if they really wanted to rig something, they could have, but that's just the way it played out. It played out logically, and there's nothing you could do.
Speaking of moments in the episode that make you feel like it's rigged.
Oh, no.
How about when Kellen pulls the rock?
Yeah, that's the second time that's happened.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Yet I don't see anything on camera that indicates that they could rig that because it's a bag of rocks and nobody's looking in there. They're just reaching their hand in and pulling out a rock.
Dude, sometimes weird shit happens.
And like you could easily say it's the Survivor gods. Like, why not?
That's just, like you said, it's semantics. That's just what we're calling it. But it is weird that it keeps happening. But it's, it's fine. Now she's gone, and hopefully she won't go again.
It's the forces that be, whatever you want to call them. They're
Yeah,
there. Survivor is happening
yeah,
in real life, and weird stuff happens. And
it's
this is
true.
another example of it. And yeah, so what do you think about, or what do you got to say about Kellen on Ghost Island? Did we get anything interesting there? I guess we have her decision, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed because this was the first episode that we didn't get to see like a Survivor flashback and a cool new cursed item come out. So that was kind of a bummer. I guess she made the right decision because it would have been a tie if she hadn't been able to vote, but that's results oriented thinking. However, she knew that their advantage was only one person, so giving up her vote would be stupid. So,
It also does play really nicely into the theme too, because like her choosing not to like play the game or like buy into like the temptation of Ghost Island, like
mhm,
it paid off, you know.
yeah.
Like it was like the right decision to like, nope, I ain't touching those cursed idols, and
Well,
I ain't.
yeah, when you think
They're all
about it,
cursed. They're all
that's
cursed.
what.
I'm not touching that.
Why does anybody want these cursed items? Because if they're cursed, it's not going to work.
And that's exactly what the producer said the whole point of the season was, is like, we want to put these things into play and say like, are these things actually cursed? Like let's test this out. Are these cursed items? And so far the season without a doubt has implied that there is a real curse on these things. And that is so cool. You couldn't ask for anything more from this season so far.
Right. It would be
Um
nice to see one of them not like redeemed, you know?
like what do you mean? Like something
Like to
not
see one of them work the right way.
like have it not be cursed?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it is always disappointing when things don't, like watching these idols get played wrong,
To
right?
me,
It's
the worst the worst feeling in a Survivor episode is when an idol is played wrong. I
like
hate it.
what happened at the end of this episode.
Yeah, it's just
It
such a
sucks.
letdown, and it's especially if it's someone you like who you wanted to stay. It's like ugh, they tried, but they just it's like it's the idols are tricky things to play, and it's a bummer when they don't work out.
Yeah, I mean, there really is only one good way to play them that works, you know. Obviously,
Wow.
there's still some guessing involved, and that's pretty much just never tell anyone you have it.
Yeah.
Never, don't ever pull it out of tribal council and try to pull some crazy shenanigans like they did. Although I thought
Yeah.
it was a great, like, I'm not gonna backtrack on what I said before, that I thought it was a great effort what they
Mhm.
did. I think the best, and I think I'm actually borrowing this from something Rob said recently, but I totally agree with him. The best way to play an idol is to never tell anyone about it and just play it. Like,
Mhm.
don't tell anyone up until it's time to play the thing. Play it how you're
Yeah.
going to play it, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work. So,
Yeah, we've seen way too much this season already of just show me the idol, you know?
yeah.
Say what you will about Ben, and I've said plenty, but he didn't tell anybody about his idols, and he
Yeah, I
won.
think I think that is the best argument you could make for how Ben is a good winner.
Mhm.
Is they talked a lot in that season about how you, like, about secrets and how you
Mhm.
shouldn't let any, tell anyone your secrets. He
Yeah.
did a very good job of that. He never told anyone.
You know what I am wondering? I just thought of this
Oh
that
yeah.
in the preview for this season, they showed Lauren and her shell, but like no one on this season is gonna know what the hell that is.
Yeah, so are they even going to use it as part of the
Well, they put
season?
it in the preview, you know, and everything else that has been shown was in the preview, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's possible that it's just in the preview for the audience's sake, like
I don't
it
know.
might,
I think you're gonna see a seashell crop up.
and that would be cool, I guess, because they could explain to whoever finds it, like, the season that hasn't aired yet, that just played before you, this is
Mm-hmm.
what happened. So,
Mm-hmm.
because they do seem to have an explanation on the parchment of,
True.
what the idol is. So,
Yeah, so they won't know the situation firsthand, but they can just, I mean, it's a cursed item, it's an idol. That's really all you need to know.
right. Yeah. You don't need to overcomplicate things.
True.
Um, yeah. Anything else about Kellen, I guess? Anything? Any thoughts? I mean, she's an obvious winner candidate for sure,
That's
right?
yeah, it's upsetting because it gives me Ben vibes, and he actually was the winner. So like, I hope they're not telegraphing it that hard. But to be honest, everyone who goes to Ghost Island gets a little hero edit story. So
Right.
far we've got Jonathan, Chris, and Kellen all with a little bit of an emotional story from their Ghost Island trip. So it could be any one of those three.
Right. And I think Kellen, could easily be somebody who later in the game, even if she makes it far, people could be like, we got to get her out now.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So she's somebody you could point your finger at and be like, yeah, she's a threat.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you think about Dom's decision to tell Laurel about the idol?
I kind of wish he'd stop telling people about it.
Right? Didn't we just talk about this?
Yeah, every episode he tells somebody new. It's like, geez. But maybe in this case, if he hadn't done all the other times before, I probably would have been okay with this because, they really need to do some Hail Marys to stay. And this, now that Laurel knows that, they might be more willing to work with him. However, they might be like, we need to get him out and flush that idol. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, Lauren's confessional from a narrative standpoint tells us like she wants to work with Dom. Like
Hmm.
we don't get anything saying
Right.
like, "Oh, I'm worried about that idol."
She
She's
says
just
she
like,
doesn't want to work with Chris.
right. That's what it comes down to. And yeah, I don't know, man. Chris, like, I liked him, but he can't help
He's
himself.
allowing his real personality to just like apparently he's a super controlling guy and that's just all that's coming out. So it's not a good look.
Yeah, the way he approaches people, he just strong arms them. He's like,
Hmm.
"I'm coming at you. This is what I think."
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you could say that there's an authenticity about him.
Yeah.
Like I think we said that last week. We
Hmm.
like his authenticity because he is who he is,
Yes.
and he wears it on his sleeve. But
Hmm.
I don't think it's coming across good to anybody. Like even even the only person that seems to maybe want to work with him, and Angela, doesn't like him really,
Hmm.
and doesn't
Yeah.
appreciate the way he's coming at her. So
Right.
it's not great.
It's not great. I think he might be in some trouble.
Yeah, I can't see him getting out of
Hmm.
this.
You
Or
know?
winning at the end in a vote.
Right. Yeah. Could be tough.
Could be tough. Yeah. Steph has a single mom.
There's winner
Soon.
edit story
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
So
Right.
we can't just single out Kellen because there was definitely some stuff there with Steph.
And there's
Uh,
another person to root for. Like we
yeah.
said, man, like there's so many people on this season to root for.
Oh yeah. The only people I'm not rooting for at this point are well, Desiree and Chelsea, and then yeah, Kellen and Bradley. So 4 out of those 5 I'm not rooting for. That's the group I'm not rooting for, I guess.
So Desiree, Kellen, Bradley, and Chelsea.
I'd root for Chelsea if I knew what to root for, but and same with Desiree, but I don't see anything from them. So
I'm rooting for Chelsea simply because like
right.
that's our dual winner pick.
And your
And
solo winner pick is now gone.
exactly.
Right.
And here's the thing, man. Like I didn't listen to my gut on that winner pick. Like I didn't really want to pick him. I don't know
Who did
what.
you want to pick? And but it's hard to say now, but
Well, that's the thing. I didn't really take the time to think about who I wanted
mhm.
to pick. If you remember, I just kind of like picked on the spot.
Yeah.
I think we both did, right? You picked on the
No,
spot
I
too.
wanted to pick James for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked Brendan. If I
He
had
was
more
a
time
solid pick.
I don't know.
I mean,
And I can't say who else I would have picked with more time, even at this point. I
right.
mean, my gut was saying Kellen too, but like I wanted to go against that
Hmm.
because I don't like picking whoever Rob picks
Hmm.
because
They lose.
A, it's like predictable, and B, they lose. So
Yes, it's true.
yeah,
It is true. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're taking a shot in the dark. It's even more difficult than trying to play the idol correctly. It's 1 in 20.
yeah, it's pretty tough.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, not sure what else to say about the episode. Do you have anything else to
Do you
talk about?
know what it means to be more Lolo than the Malolo? Because I don't understand what that was about.
Who said that? Oh, that was Sebastian again.
Seabass. Yeah.
Yeah, Malolo. Because
Don't
it's
want to
like,
get any more Lolo than the Malolo.
oh, I kind of get that. Yeah, I get it.
Or oh, so he was mocking the Malolo people.
Yeah,
Or
he's like
are but they are Malolo. That whole tribe is Malolo now.
he was mocking the old Malolo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because he's former Navidi that had the numbers.
It was nonsense, but it was funny.
Yeah, I like Sebastian is good. Like one-liner stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. And he's got a weird voice too, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
He's got one of those like
Yeah,
high
nasally.
nasally voices.
Lucy's not like Bradley,
Guys.
who's like, that's what's gonna make me a fantastic lawyer one day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy.
uh,
Told you, got one of those faces you just want to punch.
yeah, he talks like his teeth are like, I don't know, too big for his mouth or something.
Yeah, it's like an arrogant like presence. I can't
Is
really
this
describe it.
is this what Spencer would have been like if he hadn't been an underdog, if he'd been like in power the whole time?
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, okay. Well, it's nice to get the bizarro version of Spencer, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
See how that plays
Anything
out.
else on the episode?
Oh, no, but we have to do our picks and our MVPs.
Okay. What's your MVP for the episode?
La 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 la. Let's see. I don't want to pick any of those five.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna pick Michael just because he almost made it. He almost pulled off something amazing and he was very impressive in the tribal council. And with that made up lie about the idol. So
Yeah, he
cool.
was impressive, but he did play it on the wrong person. So I don't think I would give it to him.
That's fine.
Yeah. It's,
Who are you gonna give it to them? Bradley?
I don't want to give it to him either because I don't appreciate his gameplay. Did we ever get a shot of Kellen stonewalling anyone?
No, apparently she gave away the farm to Brendan by crying because he said it was his birthday the next day and she knew they were voting him out and she started like crying and he could tell that that's how he knew that he was going home. So like I think she's not cut out.
Well, I mean, at least that like makes her look like she's more human than Bradley. So
Well, that doesn't take a lot, but yes.
I guess with her Ghost Island stuff and making the right decision and then somehow convincing, I don't know if she convinced everyone to stick together. They probably just were going to anyways, and not making herself as much of a villain as Bradley all comes together. I'll give it to Kellen this episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
So predictions for next week. Do we have anything in the preview? I can't remember what happens in the preview.
Seabass and Jenna are flirting with each other.
Oh my goodness.
And Donathan says he likes Chris and doesn't want to send him home.
Oh, right. Is that all we get?
That's all I remember. There's probably more out there.
Okay. Do you have a prediction?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Chris goes home.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna say excuse me, I'm gonna say Michael. Just go with the easy, obvious
They're
thing.
Just cutting out those strong guys. Yeah. All right, that's fine.
Might as well.
Make it more fair down the stretch.
Well, they already have the numbers. They don't care if they lose every tribal up to the next swap. They don't care. Yeah. Which I even think there's a potential they could throw the next challenge to get Michael out.
I hate that. I don't want to see that.
It's ugly.
That's what I hate worse than a wrong idol play is throwing a challenge.
Yeah, it's ugly, but like those guys seem like the type to be that paranoid and that wiener-ish to throw a challenge to get rid of.
That's true.
Michael. So that's my prediction.
That's a bummer. Hey, do you think they're going to continue doing the thing where they send them to Ghost Island, but then they come back for the vote now, so they're not immune anymore?
That's what they did this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will probably continue because, well, I guess we talked about Michael potentially, being safe because of Ghost Island, but
Well,
I
I just thought maybe he could go there and find an advantage. I don't.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Um, yeah, will they alternate or something or
I don't
like,
know. It's just kind of, it
yeah,
wasn't explained. It was just like, well, we're changing it. So I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say that they don't like the idea of keeping somebody safe. I think production might even look at the like exact circumstances and make decision based on like who they want to save and who they don't want to save, and sort of they'll look at that before the reward challenge and decide, when Ghost
Hmm.
Island is going to come into play. It'll be
Yeah.
based on how the show is going.
Okay.
Yep.
Perhaps.
That's my take on it.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Um I think that's it.
That's all she wrote.
All right. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone, and thank you for listening to another edition of TV is Our Real Mom. You can find us on Twitter at TV is Our Real Mom, and be sure to give us a thumbs up, a comment, and a subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Bye.